Hello, it's 9 p.m. in RTD. It's time to English New Edition for tonight headlines. We have award ceremony for the soldiers of the Dakhil Regiment. The celebration of the World Refugee Day in Djibouti. For the international scene, Brazil has passed the 500,000 deaths mark of COVID-19. Welcome to our newsroom. The message of congratulations from the President of the Republic to the re-elected Secretary General of the United Nations. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, sent today Sunday a congratulatory message to the re-elected Secretary General of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres. The plebiscitary vote that has disposed to your reappointment as UN Secretary General is a perfect illustration of the unanimous support of the nations of the world, around the vision that you can carry for international relations, wrote the head of state in his message. It is your independence of mind and your high ability to identify new niches of multilateral cooperation for the world that are rewarded through the renewal of trust you have just received, he then noted. Under your enlightened leadership, the President of the Republic of Djibouti has continued to strengthen the special ties it has always maintained with the United Nations system. President Guelleh was also pleased to reiterate to the re-elected Secretary General our country's readiness to work to strengthen its cooperation strategic partnership with the United Nations. And for the national news, the Minister of Defense in charge of relations with Parliament, Hassan Omar Mohammed, accompanied by the Minister of Interior, Saeed Nuh Hassan, presided on Saturday, June 19, 2021, in Dagiru, in the region of Dakhil, a ceremony of rewards for the military of the regiment of Dakhil, Riyadh, as part of the activities of securing the northern regions. Indeed, for almost 2 years, the men of the southern regiment have been in charge of carrying out a continuous combined mission and nomadization is in their area of responsibility in search of criminals whose aim is to destabilize the countries by unhealthy act and in order to preserve the sovereignty of the country and the protections of our fellow citizens. The combined mission is an integral part of the related missions of the regiment of Dakhil. Thus, this day is dedicated to reward their bravery, their patience, their ability to any test. Upon his arrival in Dagiru, the Minister of Defense in charge of relations with Parliament, Hassan Omar Mohammed, accompanied by the Minister of Interior and the Chief of the General Staff of the Armed Forces, General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim, was welcomed by the Riyadh Chief of Staff, Colonel Idris Omar Elaye. Together, they reviewed with the troops to pay the tribute. In addition to the Minister of Defense in charge of relations with Parliament, the Chief of the General Staff of the Armed Forces, the military delegation was composed of General Tahiru Ali Mohammed, the Director of the National Police, Colonel Abdullahi Abdi Farah, and a small delegation of senior officers of the General Staff of the Armed Forces. The ceremony was also attended by the prefect of the Dakhil region, the president of the regional council, and the various elders of the region. Still in the framework of fight against COVID-19, the barrier gestures were scrupulously respected, namely hand washing, the mandatory wearing of masks, and social distancing. Once the review has done, His Excellency Hassan Omar Mohammed, Minister of Defense in charge of relations with Parliament, accompanied by General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim, proceeded to the presentation of awards This award began with a testimonial to the commanders of the regiment of Dekhel, Colonel Idris Omar Eleye, for his leadership, his command as a leader of men, and success in operations. In this letter of testimony, the military command congratulated Colonel Idris Omar Eleye by renewing its confidence. This decoration ceremony consisted of an advancement to the higher rank for all the participants in these sweeping and nomadic operations and the award of the Territorial Defense Medal. In his speech, the CMGA on the occasion is General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim on the occasion of the 44th anniversary of the creation of the Armed Forces first reviewed his warm congratulations to the soldiers of the Riyadh Regiment for the remarkable work done day and night to defend the supreme interest of our country. General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim did not fail to underline the determination, the courage, and the will of these soldiers who have worked tirelessly during the 2 years in order to fulfill their patriotic duty of protecting the country's moved. General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim said that he expresses all his gratitude by encouraging you to keep your morale high and honor the images of your regiment. On the sidelines of the ceremony of awarding decoration in the file, the Minister of Defense in charge of relations with Parliament, Hassan Omar Mohammed, accompanied by the Minister of Interior, the General Staff of the Armed Forces, General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim, inaugurated the military camp of Galafi. Located on the border with Ethiopia, the military is in outpost. This barracks has undergone extensive renovations. We can see the construction of a new block for the troops with a capacity of 20 soldiers, new sanitary facilities to standards, the construction of a new wall encircling the camp overhang by central towers to ensure the guard mosque to perform the religious duty and other infrastructure. This rehabilitation will improve the living conditions of the soldiers and provide a better working environment together. His Excellency Hassan Omar Mohammed, the Minister of Defense and the Minister of Interior, cut the ribbon. The World Refugee Day under the theme Together We Care, We Learn and We Shine was celebrated with a great pomp this morning at the French Institute Arthur Rimbaud under the auspices of the Ministry of the Interior in collaboration with the UN High Commissioner for Refugees. A day rich in colors started with the national anthem and animated by songs and dances by the associations of a small size. Then the day was also rich in testimony of refugees who thanked the High Commissioner for Refugee and the Republic and their reception and integration into the Djiboutian society. The day was chaired by the Minister of Interior, Saeed Nuh Hassan, and the UNHCR representative in Djibouti, Mr. Johan Damkoul Sekor. The ceremony saw the massive participation of international organizations representatives such as Barbara Manzi, United Nations System, and Ambassador Aidan O'Hara of the European Union. For his part, the representative of the UNHCR in Djibouti, Mr. Johan Damkoul Sekor, said that this day is a memorable day that we celebrate each year under the theme Together Chosen We Care, We Learn and We Shine, and close it with the reading of the statement by Filippo Grandi, World Representative of UNHCR. For his part, the representative of the UNHCR in Djibouti, Mr. Johan Damkoul Sekor, said this day is a memorable day that we celebrate each year under the theme today chosen together we care, we learn, and we shine. And close it with the reading of the statement by Filippo Grandi, world representative of UNHCR. For her part, the UN coordinator in Djibouti, Barbara Manzi, has congratulated the efforts made by the government of Djibouti to welcome the refugee into his countries and to bring them a new hope to live their lives with dignity. The Minister of Interior, for his part, Said Nuh Hassan, said that the World Refugee Day under the theme Together We Care, We Learn, and We Shine was celebrated with great pomp this morning to evoke the difficulties in country this part of people who need more and more to help. The theme chosen today in of course talk with sanitation situation and the difficulties that face the refugee in health file. As part of the continuation of the National Week of Independence, the Mayor of Djibouti City, in collaboration with the Ministry of Youth and Culture, the ONTD, and the Associations for Safeguarding Heritage, organized a photo exhibition recounting the historical development of the capital over time. The exhibition took place in the municipal parking located in the square June 27 June opposite a bank in the square, open from the ground up. It hosted 120 old photos of the capital. There were old photos of houses made of madrepores, the means of transport of the time, the different methods of water supply, the trades, the railroad, and the trade that goes with it. The salt of Djibouti, very appreciated by its quality and its way to the port, salt sold in India, also in Japan, those relating to some vestiges dating from the Second World War. For example, the fortresses located in Farhad, and finally, the constructions of the harbor of the wreck and ocean liners Fontainebleau, in addition to the old photo of the capital photo relating to our dear independence, were exposed, among them those of the damp places where people wishing to return to Djibouti City were stopped and confined. The photo of the capture of the bus transporting French children and many others were exposed there. For the 3 rounds consecutive evening, the Cultural and Artistic Tower, in honor of the celebrations of the 44th anniversary of independence, continued last night at the Neighborhood 7 Community Development Center of the Neighborhood 7, in the presence of the Minister of Youth and Culture, His Excellency Dr. Hibo Mumin Asowe. The tower continued. Hibo Mumin Asowe, surrounded by her close collaborator, the Mayor of Djibouti City, Fatma Awad Osman, officials of the CDC of the Neighborhood 7, elected officials of the municipality of Bulaus, the district council, the multitude of youth. This third stop of the Cultural and Artistic Tower was a festive and commemorative evening, very applauded. The stage shone with songs, music, traditional and modern dances. Thanks to our illustrious artists who were strongly mobilizing in favor of the 44th anniversary. The young talent of the CDC also took part in the animations of the evening. The Minister of Health, Dr. Ahmed Roble Abdille, received this morning the head of the UNFPA offices, Ms. Asha Ibrahim Jama, and her team to discuss the implementation of the joint annual work plan between the ministry and the UN agency. The discussions focused on the intensification of the bipartite collaborations, especially in the field of health promotion, mother and child, which remains a key priority of the Ministry of Health. The Minister of Health, Dr. Ahmed Rabil Abdillah, expressed his wish for a revitalization of maternal and child health activity at the level of health structures such as polyclinics. The Minister of Women and Family, Muna Usman Aden, and the Minister of Trade, Muhammad Warsama Diriya, jointly presided over a ceremony today to 20 June 2021 at the UNFD headquarters to hand over an important batch of saving materials and equipment acquired by the UNFD. These actions is part of a partnership establishment between UNFD and the Reinforced Integrated Framework. This batch of materials and equipment are aimed at improving the business environment and the development of women's entrepreneurship and promoting women's empowerment and income-generating activity for vulnerable families. These materials consist of, for the UNFD branches in the interior regions, 107 machines intended for the UNFD branches in the 5 interior regions at a rate of 20 machines per branch, 65 7 machines intended for endorsement and dedicated to the teaching of vocational training. The meeting was attended by the Vice President of the UNFD, Ms. Hasna Ahmed Bilil, the Secretary General of UNFD, the Secretary General of Trade, the coordinator of the project, Muhammad Umar, and the focal point, Hiba Ahmed Hiba, as well as parliamentarian. The Minister for of Trade has indicated in his speech that this action is part established between UNFD and the Reinforced Integrated Framework. This batch of material and equipment are aimed at and the development of women's entrepreneurship. In a brief intervention, the Minister of Women and Family, Muna Usman Aden, praised the leadership of the First Lady, Ms. Khadra Mahmoud Haid, in favor of the causes of Djiboutian women and the remarkable role that the UNFD headquarters play in promoting women's empowerment. As part of her assumption of office, the Minister of Social Affairs, Solidarity, Ulufa Ismail Abdo, received in the mornings of this Sunday, June 20, in his cabinet, Ms. Barbara Manzi, coordinator of the United Nations system. Also present at the meeting were the Secretary General, Ms. Ifrah Ali Ahmed, the Director of IDDS, Mr. Mahdi Mohamed Jama, and close collaborators of the Minister. The UN System Coordinator briefly congratulated the Minister on her appointment to this department, with which she has a long and fruitful partnership. Furthermore, the coordinator expressed her appreciation to the Ministry's team for their professionalism and support to work more for the most vulnerable. Under the joint chairmanship of Honorable Ileya Ismail Gedi and Sharmake Musa Are, the Committee on Production and Trade extended to that of Finance, Economy and Planning met this Sunday, June 20, to examine the draft law amending and supplementing the law regulating the activity of import, storage, transport, distribution of hydrocarbon and refining. This work session was attended by parliamentarian members and non-members of the Commission. The government was represented by the Minister of Energy in charge of natural resources, Yunus Ali Gedi, assisted for the occasion administrator of his department. At the end of instructive and abundant discussions, the Commissioner issued a favorable opinion for the transmissions of the above-mentioned bill to the next public session. The Minister Delegate in charge of decentralization, Qasim Harun Ali, presided today in the conference room of the Salam Center the opening ceremony of a workshop on decentralization and its various components at the national local levels organized by the Support Program for Decentralization and Local Initiative ADIL under the auspices of the Ministry in charge of decentralization. This for the training is intended for representatives of the Ministry in charge of decentralization, sectoral ministries, regional councils and prefecture, as well as Prime Minister's Office and the Presidency of the Republic. It is led the Director of the International Center for Development Studies, Mr. Christophe Mestre, and a local Malian elected official at the end of the 4-day training. Participants should be able to know the fundamental elements of the different concepts used to characterize the decentralization, know the functional dimensions of decentralization, and finally master the different components of the decentralization process. In his speech delivered on this occasion, the Minister Delegate Qasim Harun Ali has immediately recalled that decentralization is one of the key tools of the medium and long-term strategy Vision Djibouti 2035 initiated by the President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh. The Ministry of Waqf organized yesterday a ceremony of memorization of the Holy Quran at the Grand Mosque Salman. The memorization contest has seen the participation of 67 young boys and girls. Ceremony that took place in an atmosphere of religious fervor with the participation of the many Djiboutian ulama, including the Sheikh Okiye of the Islamic Councils of Djibouti. The Ministry of Waqf is committed and support the actions for the promotion of the Holy Quran. Activity is part of this framework to make more visible the efforts of young people in the memorizations of the Holy Quran. The candidates compete through the evening, and finally award was given to the winners of the competition. At the end of the ceremony, Sheikh Okiye thanked and congratulated the organizers on behalf of the Ministry of Waqf, and who strongly support initiative that advances and strengthens the presence of our country in the field of Quran memorization. Under the auspices of the Secretary of State for Youth and Sports, the King Fahd Complex hosted yesterday the official launch ceremony of the regional tournament of June 27. The ceremony was rich in color with the parade of several delegations participating in the event. At least 20 teams of different disciplines will take part in this tournament that will continue for a week through the country. The disciplines selected are, among others, soccer, handball, tennis, volleyball, swimming, cycling. And the event, chaired by the Secretary General of the Secretary of State for Sports, Ms. Khadija Ibrahim Idris, also saw the participation of the Inspector of the Secretary of State for Sports, Mr. Musa Ali Mohammed, the Director of Sports, Mr. Abshir Hassan, and several other officials and members of the various federations concerned. Several clubs will meet during this competition, which marks the beginning of the summer tournament for youth. For the international scene, Brazil became on Saturday the second country in the world after the United States to pass the 500,000 deaths marks of COVID-19, with the recent increase in daily deaths confirming the arrival of the third wave. The latest health ministry death toll, which many epidemiologists say is an underestimated, is 500,000, which with 2,300 recorded in the last 24 hours. This week, the weekly average of daily deaths has risen above 2,000 for the first time since May 10 in these countries of 212 million inhabitants, which has been hosting the Copa America soccer tournament since last Sunday. This is it for the news. Thanks for watching us. Have a good evening.